Well, two things. We talked about this before. Obstacles versus objections.
Hey, this is Blake Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years. Our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
Yep, in a way. So this is before the sale we'll look at. And I like to look at it too, they're verbalized. So
obstacles are internal.
In a way, yes. But obstacles before the sale or before you ask for the sale. Objections are after the sale. So an obstacle is when I disagree with who? With the client. Or they give me something and I disagree with, which is important. Those are simple things in the morning, right? It's when you disagree with something the prospect says. And I get this a lot. So what's an example of this?
Can't buy because the rate's too high.
Can't buy because the rate's too high. That's a perfect example. That's an obstacle. And if I'm right and good at this, I can get face-to-face to that. Guess what? I can overcome the obstacle pretty easily with a great word track. One of the examples I got, which I thought was a good one, right? And they say, well, I'm just here for information. I'm just looking. And I won't teach this today just for this one liner, really. I'm just looking. I'm here for information. What's one thing you guys can say with that?
Awesome.
Here's a great one you have, right? Especially this face-to-face. So great. And no matter what they tell us is important. You guys can never be adversarial. What do you always got to do? Agree. Right? And I want you guys to understand, I always want to have childlike curiosity no matter what they have, because I understand that they're doing the best they can with what they know. And so my job, who somebody who does this every day, is help diagnose and use questions to get that out of them. So, hey, totally agree. Okay, I totally understand. Do you do this all the time? Or is there a problem that you're trying to solve? This especially somebody you meet with, right? If you go to the showing, oh, we're just looking at some homes, we're just trying to get more information right now, we're not ready to buy anything, which is really just an obstacle. And you say what? Okay, great. Do you do this all the time? Or is there a problem you're actually trying to solve? What does that do sometimes? Makes them think and it makes them admit. And so I got that. He talks about people coming to the gym all the time. And he said, hey, can I help you? And the great example is like, well, we're just here to get some more information. And he's like, okay, but he's thinking, that's not the truth. Guess what? What are they really trying to do? They're just trying not to be fat. Right? They're just fat and overweight. They're just trying not to be fat. And we know that, but guess what? They have to say it. If I say it, it doesn't work. And so our job as that is to get them to do what? Say the problem. But if somebody comes into the gym who's fat and overweight, we know they're there for one reason, but they tell you they're there for information, which we know is sort of what? But we got to be good enough at salespeople to get them to say it through questions. So, hey, great, I get that, right? Do you do this all the time, right? Or is there a problem you're actually trying to solve? And that opens up dialogue to get down the next piece of that, and then you're able to overcome, guess what?
Objection.
The first objection. And here's one thing that I talked about, which I also want to teach us today, is that as salespeople, you guys got to be okay with one thing. What do you think it is? No. No is where your job starts. I want you guys to understand that. No is where your job starts. If there was people who didn't say no, guess what? You wouldn't need a job. They wouldn't have a job. You wouldn't be needed. We could put something on the website. They could buy a house without having to talk to a salesperson. But thankfully for you guys and for all of us, and myself included, people are always going to say no. And so that's where our opportunity comes as salespeople. The biggest mistake salespeople make is, guess what? You're scared of no. But you have to understand no is where your job starts. And so if I don't understand, I want you guys to look forward and be excited about what? Getting to know, because, okay, good, here's where the rubber meets the road. This is where my job starts. This is how I get good. Yes, we can do a lot of things up front to help minimize the amount of no's and overcome the no's in our head early on before the obstacles are actually verbalized. But I want you guys to understand this, is that no is when your job starts. And I got to be okay understanding that there's going to be multiple obstacles in the way. They're going to happen, and I just got to have a lot of good one-liners and ways to overcome that through questions. A great reminder is that I'm never going to be able to overcome that with what? Just kind of recap. Statement. A statement, a lot of you guys are brand new, you make statements. All right, you say, well, do this. You see, I told them that. And guess what? Telling isn't selling. That's not going to work. And so I have to do this through what? Questions. Like, for example, oh, great. So I guess, do you do this all the time? Or is there a problem you're actually trying to solve? Well, we're just looking at something maybe at a second home. Okay, great. There's something in Ohio back home that you're, not happy with. You want to have something down here. You're able to go through the next part of the question and wherever that example is. And then overcome that objection, what happens? Or obstacle, sorry. What happens next usually? They're going to give you another one. And guess what? That's okay. You guys got to be okay with that understanding. But what's happening in most cases, even on the telephone, we're getting the first obstacle, which is, I'm just looking, I'm not really searching, I'm searching for my friend, whatever that is. And I'm doing what? Folding. Because we're not skilled enough in terms of how to overcome that, which is important for us to look at overall. Second piece here, objections. Objections I do is after I make the close. So that's after what? I've asked for the sale. Okay, which is okay. Objections, I want you guys to understand, that's when they're disagreeing with you. Which one's more difficult? Objection, why? Obstacles are much easier because guess what's happening energetically in the conversation? I've never asked for the sale yet, and so it's not any confrontational, there's no pressure on them. Make sense? And so for us here, as salespeople, I want to be open to doing what? Overcoming as many obstacles on the front end as I can. And I find these obstacles out through what? Questions. And so I have to be willing to ask tough questions as salespeople. That's where you make money at, is asking tough questions and good questions. Well, how do I get good at that? Practice. The strategy in the back end is pretty much the same, but guess what? On the back end, it's high stakes. What does that mean, you think? There's no room for error. Because if I lose on the objection to the back end, what happens to the sale? It's done, right? If I lose to the obstacle in the front end, guess what? I still have time to go back and loop them and overcome it. I can loop on the back end, but I have less time to do so, and there's much more emotion because they're already feeling defensive. And so it's much easier to take care of these obstacles, number one, before it's verbalized. If I sense something's there, I ask the question, I can neutralize it early on. And so the reason I'm sharing this is so that you guys aren't what? Scared to do this on the front end. Pretty basic stuff, but I want you guys to understand that, look, I've got to be okay with getting this and getting no and overcoming them very, very easily, the questions. But I want you guys to write this down. I have 20 of these I can teach you, but I don't want to overdo it because you won't remember them all. What is it again? Yeah, hey, great. Do you use it all the time, or is it actually is there a problem you're actually trying to solve?
I'm just curious.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, because you guys just went around looking at with realtors all the time. It'd be kind of weird, right? Smoke screen. Okay, great. What type of information are you looking for, right? Well, what information were you seeking out? And I could go through that same exact thing. But most time, Kyle, I find that if they're seeking information, I'm not going to seek any information unless I'm trying to do what? Solve a problem. So for me to help you get the right information, tell me more about what that problem may be. Great, no problem, I understand. But what I found doing this business a long time is that most people aren't going to seek information unless there's some type of problem they're going to solve. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So I can help you get the right information. What do you think the biggest problem you're trying to solve right now with your housing situation may be?
Well, in-laws are moving in, so.
Oh, damn, in-laws moving here, so she needs more space, right? Now, guess what? I got him. Why? Because I have the right information, the right intel to start doing what? Crafting my process in terms of what I'm doing. Now I have somebody who went from being very standoffish to me, who doesn't have a problem, who's just seeking information. All of a sudden now I know what? My trump card in my back pocket, which is that you have in-laws coming to move with you, and you have to find something larger, which means you actually have to do what? Buy something to make a decision. And I did that through what? One simple question. And the second question, I asked the same thing, just differently. So they give you a smoke screen and say, no problem, I appreciate that. Doing this a long time, I found that most people don't seek information unless they have some type of problem to solve. If you had to say, what would be your number one problem right now with your housing situation? That's all you guys got to do. And so if you take anything from today, I hope it's just that. right? I thought about just teaching that as the main piece because it's a one-liner that can make you guys a lot of money. Now it's going to take doing what? Practicing. Questions about this? And now, guess what he tells me the in-law situation, right? I'm going to go deeper with this, overcome any other stories or issues they have about real estate, realtors, whatever it is. But now the objection to the back end, guess what? Where am I taking him back to? The pain of the in-laws. Appreciate that. You don't want to commit any agent right now. You don't want to pick the wrong agent. But guess what's even worse than having the wrong agent?
What's that?
Living with your in-laws, right? And that's if I have like a good rapport with them, I'll go with that. You see what I'm saying? And I can kind of joke with that and say, hey, but that'd be maybe the second problem that you have is just one more information about how to pick the right agent. Is that correct? Boom, now loop them back into where I need to go. So what am I doing here with this? I'm using the obstacle and making it what? The opportunity. You guys with me on this? So how many times have you guys gotten, even you get on the phone, hey, we're just gathering information right now. We're not really looking to make a move. And then what can I say? No problem. Totally appreciate that. Right? Do you do this all the time, or do you really have a problem that you're actually trying to solve? And you're using a little bit of ego there to kind of push them. And they'll give you that. Say, great, oh yeah, because if you're just doing this all the time, meeting realtors, to get information, that'd be kind of wild, right? Kind of weird. And push them back a little bit because they're going to admit to that. You guys with me on this?